Oh man, look at this. Oh, this is incredible. Look at those icicles. Oh man, I love coming around this corner as we're heading up into that next cove. Oh, it's just always such a special place. Oh, those icicles are incredible. Don't dare get near those. Imagine if they were to fall. Wow. You don't see that in the summertime. That's very cool. Oh man. Wow. Okay. So we're heading up into Big Cove. And one of the things that I find really special about this cove is for the last 13 years, coincidentally the same amount of time that I've been working here, there's been a pair of nesting peregrine falcons living in this cove. Now that's really special to have peregrine falcons living in this area. So as I come into this cove, I'm always looking to see, is there any chance the peregrines are hanging out on one of their regular hangouts? So, because they've got a few perches that they like more than others. So I'm always looking around. So I'm checking, is it up in there? Is it up in the tree over there where they kind of hang out? And today, just our luck, not seeing them at the moment. But, that's kind of the way it goes. You never really know what to expect. You hope for the best sort of thing. So peregrine falcons, they were locally extinct here in Atlantic Canada in the 60s and 70s because of our use of pesticides. It kind of weakened their eggs and then they couldn't reproduce properly. It was just a brutal time for the peregrine falcons. So they did a program in the mid-80s where they reintroduced them down at Fundy National Park. And they're now actually doing quite well. They've actually been... Did you hear that? So. I thought I heard that just a second. Yeah, okay, so there's definitely one here in the cove somewhere. It's just a matter of spotting it. Just a sec. Where are you? Where are you? Gotta be here somewhere. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so it's up there on a tree. Okay, I'm gonna switch cameras and get this set up so you can see it. Just a second. Oh, sweet. Oh man, okay. Gotta get this camera set up. Oh man. Stay where you are, buddy. There we are. Good. Tripod's good. Camera. Still there. Oh man. Lock it in. Lens cap. Oh man, still there. Please be there. What do we got? Oh man, that is so sweet. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so he's obviously sitting there on the dead tree and he's got food. So it looks like he's eating another bird, which would make sense because peregrine falcons eat almost exclusively other birds. That's pretty much all they eat, and they are super efficient at hunting. So what they do is they fly way up over all the other birds where they can't they can't be seen at all, and they're looking down. And when they see some little bird flying beneath them and they think, that's looking yummy and I'm hungry. So they tuck in their wings really tight and they dive at least like super fast speeds straight down towards their prey. And peregrine falcons are like the fastest creature on the earth. They can reach speeds of 240 miles an hour in a dive. That's almost 400 kilometers. That's like 3 times as fast as you are possibly ever allowed to go when you're driving on the highways. Just like crazy fast. So they hit their prey from above, instantly either stunning or killing it, and then they swoop down underneath, catch their food, and then bring it back to a perch, kind of like the one up here, and sit and eat it. Oh man, that is incredible. Look at that. Like you're just plucking it apart. Oh, that's beautiful. What a treat. Oh, I can't believe we're getting to see this. This is beautiful. So Peregrines have been nesting here for the last 13 years, like I kind of mentioned earlier, and they've got different nest sites around this one cove. So in this one cove, they nest in 4 different spots. They've nested up in there on a number of years, up in there, over in the other spot. They've had 4 different spots where they've been going. Oh, just a sec. Oh, and there he goes. Oh, how cool is that? What a treat to be able to see that happen right here in front of us. Yeah, I didn't know if we'd get to see it today or not, but that is sweet. All right, I'm going to take this down, and then we'll continue. So this nesting pair of peregrine falcons have been really successful breeding here in this cove. They've produced over 20 young ones in the last 13 years. They can have anywhere from 1 to 4 eggs a year, and yeah, over 20 if you can imagine. So some years are more successful than others, and last year's a really good example of that. Last year they had 4 eggs that all hatched, and everybody developed really well, and everything was looking great. They actually all left the nest and were flying, and we thought, hey, they might actually have a chance of making it. But peregrine falcons have a really difficult time making it through their first year. I think the statistics say something like 60% of them don't survive their first year. So of the 4 of them, one of them was a little less developed than everybody else. He wasn't doing quite as well. And we were keeping an eye on him, but we don't interfere with them. But then he started getting a little weaker. And one day, he'd been flying for about a week, and one day he landed over here on the rocks and was just kind of sitting and wasn't too interested in doing much of anything. So one of our other interpreters, Rick, calls me on the radio, and he says, "Kevin, I'm concerned about this one peregrine falcon. Can you come take a look at him?" So I head down and I come over, and sure enough, there he is sitting all by himself, just kind of, just minding his own business. He was looking a little sad. He was looking a little hungry maybe. So keep in mind, this is a wild animal. Okay, he's got sharp beak, sharp talons, but he needs help. And I've always been kind of the thinking that I think animals can kind of sense if you're there to help them or if you're there to kind of hurt them. And he could definitely tell that I was there to help. So I sat down beside him, and I was there for maybe 5 minutes or so, just calmly talking with him and building up a little bit of a relationship. And then eventually I got to the point where I could reach out and I could actually pet him. And I was touching him, and he was letting me. And I thought, okay, this is good. We're going to be able to help this guy. And within a couple more minutes, I was able to actually pick him up, and I brought him back to my office. And I called the Atlantic Wildlife Institute, because they're the people around here who look after herd animals and rehabilitate them. So I rushed him over to them, and they took a look at him and agreed that he needed to be fattened up. So they took him, and they've been feeding him and looking after him ever since. And now they're expecting that next spring he'll be released back into the wild. So it doesn't always work out quite that well, but we were so fortunate to actually be able to help him in this instance. Anyhow, I can see this tide is quickly coming in, so we got to keep moving if we're going to see the rest of this before the tide gets us. All right, let's go. So just as we were speaking, another peregrine just flew in, and so I had to quickly set up the camera, so I didn't have time to actually show you me setting it up. But he's right up here on the cliff, and again, he's eating. So this is the second one. So both of them are here right now, which is really cool. I'll show you through the camera. Check this out. That's unbelievable. Look at the amount of feather laying around from where he's eating. That is unbelievable. So because it's the winter time, there isn't as much food around for the peregrines to find. So when they do catch something like this, they make sure they eat every little bit of it. That's why he's really taking his time. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear you can actually hear like the snapping as he's pulling little bits of it apart. He's making sure he gets his full meal for sure. Okay, so it looks like she finished eating and she's just sitting now relaxing, enjoying the sun a little bit. So we're going to leave her there and we're going to keep going. How cool is that? Two of them in one trip. That's so cool. All right, let's get this packed up.